From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning on LALATE as your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 reveals the first 634 pages of the reconciliation bill now released. In these first 634 pages, there's literally 634 pages of checks for you. Checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for $4,000 to care for a senior, for an adult, 634 pages of money across the board, including checks to care for children, checks for bicycles, checks for vehicles, checks for all types of money that we've never thought that would even be in there. We're going to go over all these incredible checks that are in these first 634 pages of this reconciliation bill and what's in cluster number 2. Then we cut to cluster number 2 and 3 that has more checks, including hazard pay and also money for seniors, Medicare as well. And then we cut to the breaking world exclusive that was released last night on this channel as Bernie Sanders staffer reveals yet again there will be a fourth stimulus IRS check. Staffers to Bernie Sanders confirmed that to a viewer of this channel. Then, in a big breaking news this morning, we learn that $13 billion of more money under third stimulus is being released today for you. OMG, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen just made the announcement. I have all the incredible money, including that next additional $13 billion just released for you. It starts right now because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and this is Mornings LALATE live from Santa Monica. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope the weather is good where you are. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. It is freezing here in Southern California. In this recording this morning, we'll be going over the incredible breaking news. First, we'll be going over the first 634 pages of that reconciliation bill released. Checks for the American people. Lots and lots of checks, including checks for vehicles, checks for cars, checks for bikes, checks for seniors, checks for hazard pay, checks for students, $51,000 of MSC checks in there as well. Then we're going to be cutting to cluster number 2 that has an additional 12 other checks proposed, including up to $1,700 a week. And then in cluster 3, more money for my seniors, more money for workers. Then we cut back to the world exclusive broke late on this channel last night as Bernie Sanders staffer again confirms there will be a fourth stimulus IRS check. And then, of course, the big bombshell that no one saw coming as Treasury has another $13 billion of money for you from third stimulus. And it's coming out to the cities and counties and states today. This is Mornings LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Mornings Crypto at 10 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. is noontime. Then in afternoon, we have Afternoons LALATE, Evenings LALATE, and if you saw the excitement yesterday, now shows at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. 18 hours of programming on this channel every single day. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this incredible family. And thank you for the last 48 hours being the biggest 2 days on this channel in nearly 3 months. I think you feel the excitement. I do as well. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP, so you get access to all that big money. And don't forget to sign up for those LA alerts. Let's go right into the check, shall we? Let's cut right into the first 645 pages released from your fourth stimulus reconciliation bill, and there's just checks of all magnitude. First, let's go over the checks, and then we'll go over what these 645 pages means. Checks for everything, including hazard pay, checks for repairing houses in poor communities, checks for college students, $51,000 of MSCs, checks for bikes, vehicles, also checks for caring for an adult and caring for a child. All right, let's get to the details starting right now. Check number one, hazard pay. Back on, baby, permanently. Hazard pay manifests itself, first debuted on the channel in 2020, but got into the third stimulus package by modifying an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit. They modified it the following ways. First, they reduced the age eligibility so more younger people qualify for it, and then it goes anywhere from age 18 to 120 years old. Then they increased the eligibility for it by raising the income threshold. Finally, they raised the amount of money paid to you. But that was only temporary. Guess what? The Earned Income Tax Credit modification for hazard pay individuals, permanent under forced stimulus. This is incredible. First, it means that if you're a hazard pay individual and you're eligible each year, you're going to get this money every single year you work in this environment. Second, one thing I want to make very clear in this recording, which I don't think I made yesterday, is that forced stimulus has nothing to do with the pandemic. So you do not have to be none of the provisions have anything to do with the pandemic. So you don't have to be an essential worker because of the pandemic. It's just you're an essential worker. Incredible, great news. There you go, hazard pay lifetime. The second one, I did not see this one coming, not in my radar. $4,000 a year, up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly, a check to you. Wow, this is huge for a lot of people that are care providers for an adult or a senior, and that may be someone in your household. And an additional $4,000 also if you care for young children. This was Representative Richard Neal, head of Ways and Means Committee's pet baby. He wanted this in this, and no one saw this coming. Yes, up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly or for a child. Then, how about $51,000 of MSC? You're going to see on this channel that I'm now using the word MSC specifically to refer to either monthly check or multiple checks. But if we're talking about the IRS check, I say IRS check. $51,000. Yes. Children in a household that is a low-income household will now get up to $300 a month every month for up to 18 years. That's $51,000 a child. Its third stimulus provision now made a lifetime. Third stimulus first introduced this provision, up to $300 a month stimulus check for that child. But now it'll be lifetime, meaning that if you're a parent of a child and that child's newborn and you remain a low-income household, over the next 18 years, you'll get up to $300 a month for that child every month for 18 years or $51,000. How about some money to rehab some homes? Yes, if that home is in a low-income community, the federal government will give money to rehab, fix up that home. Incredible details as well. Then there is lots of money to purchase things. For example, there is we're going to go over personal vehicles, business vehicles, and personal bikes. First, personal bikes. If you want a bike, the federal government will pick up 15% of the price tag if you buy an electric bike. Second, need a new personal vehicle? Then the federal government will pick up to $7,500 for a new electric car. That's for the major U.S. automotive manufacturers, but there's still a push underway to modify this language to include domestics or Tesla. Third, you need to purchase a vehicle for your business. Then there'll also be a big payout as well, expected to be about $7,500 for this as well. Then college students, money for college students as well. There's going to be the Pell Grant will now be tax-free for the first time, and then they'll be giving grants directly to college students and also grants to colleges so that they can give that money to you. And there you go. That is the first 645 pages of this reconciliation bill. So what is this? How is it done? What does this mean? Why is it 645 pages? First, this is the first 645 pages of what will be thousands of pages long as a bill, potentially an 8,000-page bill. Why have only 645 pages been released? Because these are the items they agreed upon. Who agreed upon it? The House Democrats, the Senate Democrats. Where do they agree upon? They do it behind closed doors, not on TV, not on C-SPAN, not on broadcast media. They talk on the phone, they go to their offices, they have a cup of coffee. They say, what do you think about giving $4,000 to care for the senior? Yeah, no, I want a little bit more. No, I want a little bit less. I want to change the percentage. And then when they agree upon it, 4,000. Deal, done. Go write it up. Then they go write it up. As they went through a series of items, these 645 pages of checks were the first easy ones that they can agree upon really quickly, and they said, go write it up. And they did. And so this is the first 645 pages of a potential 8,000-page bill that they've already agreed upon, and they went and wrote it up and released it. Coming up in a second, I'm going to show you cluster number 2 is what I call it. Cluster number 2, a series of 12 other checks, which include up to $1,700 a week if you have to stay home from work. Money for weatherization. What a difficult word. Weatherization of a home. That's for hurricanes or also fire. That is in the next cluster. I call cluster number 2. What is cluster number 2? These are items that they have talked about every single day, and we're expected to see these reduced to bill format in the next few hours or days because they've agreed upon the subject matter. They're going over the terms, like the percentages of the numbers. Cluster number 3 are the items I'm going to show you after that. Those are the checks that the president wants to have, including checks for seniors, checks for workers. I got checks for everyone from SSI, SSDI to workers to single individuals to non-single individuals. Lots of different checks. And cluster number 3 are likely to get done as well and may show up at the same time as cluster number 2. But first, let's get some surprise that came out of nowhere. The breaking news today at Mornings LA is that $13 billion is going out from third stimulus that has not been used. What? Department of Treasury, Janet Yellen, announced this morning that if you are in a city, a county, or a state that ran out of rent, utilities, or items like that under third stimulus, get ready because there's another cash infusion, another pile of cash landing in that city, county, and state. $13 billion of it. What's going on? Under third stimulus, they allocated a total of $47 billion for the entire country for rent and utilities and these items under third stimulus. But they sent them out in stages. The first stage was $25 billion. Then the second stage was $9 billion. Well, some cities and states have run out of certain sums of money in some locations. So now they're sending out the remaining $13 billion to your city and state. So there will be no city and no state that will be out of money starting in a few days from now. This is really exciting, great news. I'll be going over more about that in a second. But let's cut to some surprising new inspiration stories before we cut back to some checks. We have Dragon, who's a longtime viewer of this channel and always on the live chat. And Dragon wants you to know that Dragon, she was not behind on rent, and she's also on benefits. And she got $33,600, which covered $12,000 of rent, $9,000 of utilities, $2,300 of utilities, $900 of more, and then $4,800 for credit for Cox is being worked on, plus $18,000 for SNAP. Then we also have D. Miller, who goes by Danielle, says, good morning, LA. I received $18,253.60 for rent, and I'm waiting for more. Thank you for providing me the necessary information. And then a personal message. Someone on Morning's Countdown this morning said, thank you, LA, for bringing out those nonprofits. I never knew to reach out to United Way. I did yesterday after watching your show, and they said I'm the only person who reached out to them, and I'm likely to get approved. United Way is one of the companies I'm going to go over in a second. They're also featured on our new return show, Purple, which appears every night on this channel at 11:30. More about that coming up in a second. But let's go back to some more checks. Let's go back to cluster number 2 of the fourth stimulus checks. Again, cluster number 2, these are 12 checks, or 12 subjects of checks, that are likely to get in there because the Democrats are talking about it every single day, and we all believe they're just finalizing the terms and conditions. These are a lot of money for you. I'm going to go over each of them right now. The first one, expansion of paid family leave and paid medical leave. What is that and how much does it pay? Paid family leave means, for example, a spouse got pregnant and you have to stay home from work. Paid medical leave is, for example, your son broke his leg and you have to stay home and work and take care of your son. How much does it pay? Likely a fortune. Under third stimulus, the way they did this was the following calculation. $75,000 or higher, you get $1,700 a week. Then you prorate it. So let's say you make $30,000 a year. Then you would get half of that, which is about $800 a week. Let's say you make $15,000 a year. Then you half it again. That would be $400 a week. Can you imagine $400 a week if you have sick leave, medical, or family? That's incredible. At a $15,000 annual salary, there you go. Who pays this? The federal government would fund the employer, and the employer would pay it to you. Next item is the buildup of the child care programs. Then, third, household tax credits increase. Then, number four, expansion of the Medicare benefits, lowering the eligibility age, and checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing care. This also comes up in cluster number 3. Then expansion of the Affordable Care Act. Then weatherization. They're going to give you checks to weatherize your home. This is really helpful for people that have suffered and endured the issues about the fires or the hurricanes or the tornadoes in recent months. Then comes lots of free tuition. Wow. First, free pre-kindergarten nationwide. That's incredible. Checks to send your child to pre-K. Then, if you want to go back to school, because I just always sound like French, you never understand what the world I'm talking about. That darn LA accent. I just don't understand his accent. You can go back to community college and they'll pay for you because LA's always talking that darn French. Free to community college will be paid for by the federal government, so you will understand what I'm talking about. Don't understand my accent. I do not have an accent. There you go. Free to community college paid for by the federal government. You do not need a degree. They have a class called What the Hell is LA Talking About? And then they'll have other items that are a little too complicated for us, including electric vehicle fleets. Well, that is cluster number 2. Coming up in a second, I'll be going over cluster number 3. But boy, let's turn to the big money that you can get across the board. And let's understand how these legislators have gotten to the spot right now. But I think the one thing you want to know about is that IRS check. That IRS check in the World Exclusive delivered late last night on this channel, another viewer reached out to Senator Bernie Sanders' staffer, as I've been telling you over the last 7 weeks to do so. And that viewer, Donnie, a longtime viewer, confirmed yet again that Senator Bernie Sanders will be giving you a IRS stimulus check. Here you go. I called Senator Bernie Sanders. This is Donnie. I called Senator Bernie Sanders and spoke to his secretary, and she said they are doing a 4th stimulus check. Donnie then goes on to explain his advocacy. I said, this is why I need it. I need it. My city needs it. I need it to progress. And I told her about my water and everything. I told her, and she said, okay, they are doing a 4th. And there you go. This channel, in a world exclusive, yet again reveals to you that Senator Bernie Sanders is doing a stimulus check. Later in this video, in the final 15 minutes, I will go over what Brother Joshua's conversation had with that staffer, in which he goes over the monthly payments, and how that is being proposed as well. That's coming up in just a second. This channel over the last 5 weeks has shown you that there is a push underway to put a stimulus check in there on the Senate Democrat side, which is also very important. I'll explain the nuance of Senate versus House in just a second. The legislation, the first 645 pages released, is written by House Democrats. I had told you over the last 2 months that my belief was that the House Democrats were going to write it. I was confirmed as correct late last week, as the House Democrats released the first 645 pages. Who negotiates it? House and Senate Democrats. They say go write it, then the House Democrats, the one that actually write it. Who votes on it? Who votes first? Who votes second? And does Chris Coons and Bernie have the final say to add additional sums of money? That's coming up in a second. But first, here is a little bit about the community page. Here's a little bit about the community page that can help you get these big sums of money for rent and utility if you've gotten one and haven't gotten the others. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. With the big payout for third stimulus still happening, I'm going to show you how to get fortunes of money like Dragon and other viewers like Mark and his brother-in-law got. Then we'll be cutting to cluster number 3 of the 4 stimulus checks. And then we'll be cutting back to that IRS check and how many months and the terms and conditions. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now live from Santa Monica on Mornings LALATE. If you're just joining this broadcast, we're going over the monthly IRS stimulus check that Bernie Sanders staffer in a world exclusive confirms yet again to this channel. That's coming up in just a second. We'll be cutting to the continuation of the reconciliation budget bill, the first 645 pages released on Friday. We'll be cutting to cluster number 3, the third cluster of checks. Lots of them, including checks for seniors and workers. Then we'll be cutting back over to third stimulus, and I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money for rent, utilities, and food. As the breaking news first delivered on this channel this morning is that another $13 billion is coming to your cities and counties and states for you right away. This is exciting. Lots of money, and it starts right now. And this is LA, America's only 24 hours a day channel. Coming up next at 10 o'clock is Mornings Crypto. And boy, I have a big prediction of about a big PCR crash looming on the horizon. Don't miss that Morning's Crypto show coming up at 10 o'clock. Then 11 a.m., the latest details about this reconciliation. It's heating up. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and become a member. Now, let's cut to the exciting details that surprised everyone as we sat back and learned this morning that Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, has another $13 billion for you. This $13 billion is going out to your city, county, and state for rent, utilities, and food. If you are a viewer who have used the knowledge of this channel to get that money under third stimulus and have reached out to your cities and counties and states and they said, we're out of money, guess what? Get that phone number you called, get it on your pad and paper, and get ready to call them again. And tell them, I heard there's another $13 billion coming. Can I call you back when when you know the money's there, or can you put me on the waiting list? The money is going back to the cities and counties. The Department of Treasury has allocated another $13 billion under third stimulus to every city and county and state across the country so that they are replenished to pay you for rent and utilities. One thing I want to make very clear in this video, which I don't think I made clear yesterday, is that rent, utilities, food, and internet, these third stimulus items, not likely to repeat under fourth stimulus. They're going to be just in third stimulus. All right, let's go over the big money you can get. Get a pen and paper and cell phone ready right now. I'm going to show you how to get money for rent, utilities, food, or internet. Let's go over the inspiration that comes from after a day when we had success stories from Lorica, Suelan, Patrice, and Jen yesterday. Jen got $38,000 for rent. I want to go over first the rent. What you're seeing on this channel happening is the numbers are going bigger every single day. Let's go over the money you can get, starting with the rent. The rent was $20,000 on this channel just about 2 weeks ago with Nisi. Grew all the way to $27,000 from Elizabeth Purple Hawk, and now Jen overnight got $38,000 for rent. Mark, who you've met on this channel, he got $51,000 for this channel, turned around and helped his brother-in-law, and that brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities last week, showing us a 300% growth for utilities since when Angela got $5,000. Johnny over the weekend got $9,000 for utilities. When we talk about SNAP, we've gone from $5,000 for Nancy, now Mark's brother-in-law getting $21,000 for SNAP. Oh boy. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money starting right now. Here are some introductory remarks. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, keep on reaching out to the next. Also, they have different pots of money. Then listen to keywords I see in this video. Additionally, I'm going to show you the nonprofits, as that viewer on Morning's Countdown said, my goodness, I'm likely to get approved by that nonprofit just because of yesterday's recording. I love it. And then I'm going to show you another place to get the sums of money. All right, here you go. First, I want you to reach out to 6 places. Each place has different eligibility. So reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility and they have different pots of money. Many places do not require you to be behind on rent whatsoever. Second, it's important to listen to the keywords I say in this video. It helps get people approved. Number 3, now you saw the breaking news on this channel. Every state had money, and if your state, for some reason, ran out of money, there's another $13 billion, 100% being given to every state across the country right today. It may take a day or 2 for that money to get there. So keep on calling up the places you called up before that may have said they were out of money. Say, I know there's money coming. Can you call me back when the money's there, because I want to be first in line. It reminds me of Kevin Lee on this channel from last year, who got rent in March or April of 2020. He heard about Dallas having money for 4 days. He got it. It was gone. Money coming first. You're going to pounce as a purple hawk. All right, here's six places you start to reach out to start with. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Next, I want you to reach out to every utility company you have. So if you have 5 utility companies, reach out to all 5. Remember, utility assistance because of COVID. Then I also want you to reach out to the nonprofits. That viewer on Morning's LALATE said, I reached out to you, Salvation Army, because of you, or I think maybe it was United Way. And they said no one else had reached out to them. I'm first online. I think I'm going to get approved. I love that. Here are the nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. If you need to hear that list again, you can replay the video. Meantime, watch Purple. The replay of Purple from 2020 is back on this channel. In 2020, fall of 2020, and early 2021, I detailed a lot these nonprofits in a show called Purple. Well, guess what? We now have confirmation the nonprofits are still paying the rent and utilities as well. That show is at 11:30 every night on this channel, but you can watch it archived on the channel from last night. The title is Purple, and the image is also purple. And there you go. Next, I want you to get that money for SNAP, because SNAP is a lot of money. A gift from Department of Agriculture. Pick up the phone and call them. Eligibility is easy than a stimulus check, and now everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% nationwide, automatically, starting in October. How much does it pay? Well, Mark's brother-in-law is going from $21,000 to $26,000. Incredible, great news. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. That's Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. Then the refund check coming back from your state, that's coming for that overpayment of unemployment benefits. Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And then finally, the refund check from IRS. That 2020 check for the unemployment benefits you pay taxes on, that's coming back. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. And there we go. It's time to go into the 3rd cluster of your 4th stimulus checks, starting right now. Early in this video, we went over the first cluster, which is in this first 645 pages of the reconciliation bill released. Nearly 645 pages of checks. Cluster 2 were the checks which are likely to get reduced to a bill form in the next hours or days. And cluster 3 is much the same. The difference with cluster 3 is that these are the items that the president specifically wants, so they're likely to get in there. What are they? Here you go. Checks for free school meals for all, checks. Tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks. Checks for farmers, checks for free internet. Checks for clean energy. Checks for workers, like independent contractors. Checks for seniors, like lowering the eligibility age for seniors. I know someone in the live chat said, what age? We don't know that just yet. Checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing. Now, let's go back over them. Some of those are literally automatic. Some of them are almost automatic. One of them that's automatic is the prescription checks or money for prescription. How are they going to do this? Here's what the president's envisioning. You go to fill a prescription on a Monday and you pay $30 out of your pocket. This becomes a law on a Tuesday, and then you go to refill the prescription the next week. You pay a fraction of the price, $5, saving $15 in your wallet, if I did that math really quickly in my mind. It's basically an instant savings to your wallet because they're going to slash your prescription medication prices, the federal government, with their agreements with the pharmaceutical companies. Then the free internet, that's almost automatic because all you have to do is say, hi, I live here. Here's the username and password. Then you give fortunes of money to your local cities and counties and states so that they can run their own internet company and provide free internet to their residents. Just give me the username and password and I'll sign in with my Wi-Fi. And there you go. All right, now let's turn to understanding the excitement of how they get this all together. The first 645 pages were released because those are the checks that they've agreed on. They said, go write it up. House Democrats, Senate Democrats agreeing upon those provisions. Cluster 2 and Cluster 3 are likely to get written in the next few days. But what about the excitement of that IRS stimulus check? Well, you saw it early in this video. You saw it last night in yet another world exclusive when Donnie, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and advocated for a stimulus check, called up Senator Bernie Sanders' staff and said, I called Bernie Sanders' staff and they said, we're getting it. I spoke to a secretary and they said they're doing a forced stimulus check. He advocated. He didn't call up questioning. He advocated. I need it. This is why I need it. My city needs it. I need it. I need it for water. I need it for everything. I told her that I need it. And she said, okay, we're doing a fourth. Let's go over how this started nearly 8 weeks ago. One of the cores of this channel is advocacy. Advocacy is saying why you need something, not asking where, when, how, which. No. We don't ask questions on this channel. We say we need it. I need a stimulus check because of the situation of my city, my county, my family, my church, humanizing the situation, explaining your reason why you need it. And I said about 8 weeks ago, pick up the phone and call. And that's what WR, longtime viewer of this channel, who is in Morning's Countdown this morning, did. On Morning's Countdown this morning, someone said, I've been praying for this. WR said, prayer is great, but you also need to pick up the phone and actually tell your story. That's what he did. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, senator, and explained to him the humanizing story of why WR's family or him need a stimulus check. And the response from the staffer was, yes, you're getting a stimulus check. Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, will be proposing it in the forced stimulus recon when it lands to the Senate side. There you go, world exclusive. But you don't stop there, because I told people to advocate for this 3 weeks ago when Senator Bernie Sanders, who's chairman of the Budget Committee on the Senate side, said he wants to hear from you. The 645 pages released early in this video. That's released by the House Budget Committee. The Senate Budget Committee is chaired by Bernie. And he said 3 weeks ago that prior budget chairmen on the Senate side like to do things in D.C. I like to get out amongst the people. I said that means he wants to hear from you. He wants to hear you advocating for things. And I said, pick up the phone. And that's why Brother Joshua, who's also in that Morning's Countdown show this morning, I think it was early mornings in LA as well, picked up the phone and called. He was among a few viewers who picked up the phone and called. And Brother Joshua advocated why he needs a stimulus check, why it's important to send out a stimulus check. Brother Joshua is a viewer that's helped countless viewers. He's a 2020 volunteer to the community page, one of the originals. And he's also a Purple Hawk. And the staffer told Brother Joshua from Bernie Sanders' office, yes, there will be a monthly stimulus check. Yes, it'll be $1,000 to $1,400. Yes, it'll be 3 to 6 months. And Senator Bernie Sanders needs your support to know that the American people want him to do it. I said pick up the phone and call. Call every single Democratic senator you can call. Coons, Chris Coons, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, Chuck. Every Democratic senator you can call up and say, I need it. This is why my family needs it, my community, my church. And there was a wonderful message yesterday on Twitter. I missed the person's name, but boy, it was a wonderful message. She said, I'm a very shy person, and I'm not good at doing this. And I didn't know if I had the strength to do this, but I finally picked up the phone and I called. Unfortunately, I got the voicemail, but I left a message. After I left the message, I felt so good that I overcome my shyness to say why I need it. They want to hear the humanizing story, why you need it. They want to know what is going on with you and your family or community. They need to hear it because when they hear it, then they humanize it. All right, now let's go back over these three clusters and understand where things get voted and how they get voted. The House is releasing the language of the reconciliation bill, as I said they would. But where does the voting start? The voting starts potentially on the House side, is what I'm predicting. This is the recon substantive. They've already passed the recon procedural. There's already going to be a recon. It'll be 3.5 trillion, and it'll be all these incredible checks to the American people. But the group writing the language is the actual House subcommittees, and when they're done, it could be upwards of 8,000 pages. The House will call for a vote, and the House will pass it. Then it'll go over to the Senate. Now, this is very interesting, because you've seen already Senator Chris Coons, who's a senator, saying he's putting it in there. And you've seen Bernie Sanders twice saying he's putting it in there. So can senators put stuff in there? Absolutely. Senators have this thing called the vote-a-rama, in which they can change things that they got from the House. Senators are likely to add things or grow things. They're not going to remove anything. So if you look at the money for the seniors, $4,000, you look at the hazard pay, or look at the $1,700 of paid sick leave, for example, they're not going to look at it and say, I'm getting out my eraser removing that. No, they're not going to do that. They'll either grow the number. Let's say we'll do $5,000 for taking care of the senior, or $1,800 a week for paid sick leave. They'll grow the number, or they'll add something on top of that. Let's say, you know what? We also need this thing. We're going to add it in there. And guess what? When it lands back in the House members are not going to take it out. They like to spend money. That's the easy breezy part of the situation. Finally, fifth stimulus. I think I have a little bit of time to go over fifth stimulus as well. This is the SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, Veterans Benefits, SSA, lift, proposed under the next stimulus package. This starts getting written up in September, out for a vote by October or November, and likely to impact your benefits starting in December all the way into next year. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is likely to be inflation. That inflation rate may be as high as 5%. It's going to be transitory. It's going to rise up until December and then come back down. First, they'll raise your benefits up. And then if the inflation rate is, let's say, 5%, that means your benefits will go up another 5%. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never step down. That's fifth stimulus. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work. And they're going to remove the marriage penalty that says you cannot be married and also receive benefits. And love is going to win. Finally, will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will be. Lastly, if you've not signed up to become a Purple Hawk, please do so. Because as soon as I first started to hear and deliver to you what was in third stimulus, Purple Hawks were ready to pounce. The great news is that third stimulus is still paying out with $13 billion of additional funds. Purple Hawks is delivered daily from me to them via the YouTube page, a breakdown of everything under the first, second, and third stimulus package for them. Become a Purple Hawk, the link's under the video. Because that's why these Purple Hawks are cleaning up $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And it's important to understand that with this new cash infusion of $13 billion, third stimulus is going to be paying for a lot more weeks to come. So consider becoming a Purple Hawk today so you get all the big money on a third stimulus and you're ready to pounce on a fourth stimulus. And as soon as that becomes live, I'm going to show you how to get that big money as well. Meantime, coming up next is Mornings Crypto at 10 a.m. I'm predicting a People's Republic of China crash could be coming to crypto anytime soon. You're going to see why in that breaking news report at 10 a.m. live on this channel. Then at 11 a.m., I'm back more with you live on air at noontime, going through the details of what is in this incredible first 645 pages of checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Then I'm back with you on 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock for afternoons, and then evenings, and then now the new schedule of shows. Shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11:30 on this channel, including Purple, which helps you for rent at 11:30, and our Business Grant show, and the return of the SSI show coming back as well. So much happening across the board, and thank you for making the last 48 hours two of the most watched days on this channel in nearly 3 months. I think you can feel excitement, and I do as well. Lots of checks, and we're going to get them all together. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member so you get access to all this incredible money that's available for you under first, second, third, and soon fourth. And stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, be informed, and stay with LA for more.